Good morning, friends. So today is super exciting. I'm about to go over to our local garden nursery because I have 30% off all plants, no exception. So any plants, 30% off, which is great. And perfect timing for us for fruit trees because we're going to start our major part of the landscaping project this weekend. Today is Thursday. We've got a dingo digger and a tipper trailer and all that stuff happening on Saturday. So I'm going to go down to my local nursery, purchase some fruit trees. I'm wanting 2 or 3. We'll just see what they have. My number one preference is apricot because apricots I always buy dried. I've never tried a fresh apricot. Nick says he loves them. He's had them like when he was a kid. I think a relative or something of his family has an apricot or had an apricot tree. So he grew up eating fresh apricots. I don't think I've ever tried one, but I always buy dried apricots. So that's our number one preference for fruit trees. Number 2, I wouldn't want a plum because Worcestershire sauce, which we go through so much, is plum base. Plus, like plum flavored barbecue sauces is definitely our favorite type of dipping sauce out of like any flavor sauce. So I do want plum. Again, I've never tried a fresh eating plum. Nick has. He eats them fresh. So he will definitely use those 2 trees or fruits as fresh eating. I would obviously try it. If I like it, I would eat them fresh too, but that's my main purpose. I also want an apple tree. Again, we eat apples fresh, and to make applesauce, he thinks apples is a little boring. He would prefer something different. I still want an apple tree. We'll see. Otherwise, even like an almond tree, that would be so fun. We always snack on almonds. We use almond meal. It's just something that we'd really benefit from. So we'll just go down to the plant shop, see what they have. But yeah, I'm just so excited to finally get some fruit trees. And it's just, I cannot get over the timing. So I'll backtrack to what I was saying. So we will purchase the trees today. I'm just going to keep them in the pots. For today, tomorrow. Once the dingo digger has done its dingo digging in the backyard and we got all that back and scrape, I will get these plants in the ground straight away. But yeah, so we'll see you guys in the nursery. So my local garden nursery has a massive range of all these different guava plants. I've never tried a fresh guava before. I do drink energy drinks, not like heaps, and they're generally guava flavor and I enjoy the taste of them. And I think it'll be very cool to buy an unusual flavored guava. This tomato tree really caught my eye, not something that I picked up. I know nothing about tomato trees, but I definitely thought that would be interesting. There was just a lot of cool things around here on this day. They always have new and fun things in store. Bunch of strawberries, definitely getting into the season of planting strawberries. This macadamia tree caught my attention. I just thought the leaves on this tree was absolutely beautiful, and I just loved it for the ornamental factor of this plant. Except macadamias isn't something that we do eat regularly. I buy them maybe once a year and make a batch of macadamia and white chocolate cookies. But because of how little we use macadamias, there's to me not much point in getting a macadamia nut tree. Although it was absolutely beautiful. They did have this mango tree that I had just pan across. This is like walking into the section of the more bigger fruit trees. And I had a mango tree. That was the first one I saw. And I was very tempted. I love mangoes, but I just thought I'll stick to something a little bit more practical and something we can get a bit more use out of. So here I am looking at peach trees. They got miniature peach trees, and soon you'll see the regular size peach tree. So with the different fruits, they did have a few different varieties of each type. Now we're into the apricot section. So yeah, it is a small area, especially compared to your city garden nurseries. I am just in a small town, so it is much more on a small scale, but there's still so much variety. I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and you can just see it as well. This day when I was shopping for these fruit trees was absolutely beautiful. So this was a few days before our landscaping project has started, after the garden nursery walkthrough that we're doing now, it does go straight into using the dingo digger. And on that day of using the dingo digger, so it was my father-in-law and Nick that was doing it, and I'm very grateful for their help. I was at work, so I didn't get a before shot. I was supposed to do that day before, but I forgot. I then asked Nick to get a before shot. He said yes, but then he was just too excited to try out the dingo, so he ended up forgetting in the moment. But that's fine. The before is just weeds, so much weeds. But just wait until you see how it all comes together. It's absolutely wonderful. Also, going back to what I was saying about the peach trees, that is the one tree. Now I have purchased these fruit trees. Peach tree is the one thing I'm like, okay, I still really want a peach tree. So I don't know how I'm going to find room, but I will find room. I'm probably going to wait till next season and then I'll purchase a peach tree. But that is something I definitely do want. I feel like that's the only thing I really do want. All of the plum trees and apple trees, they had, as you can see, I'm reading the labels and flipping them over and things like that. And I had a more thorough read off camera as well. But they all required multiple plants to set fruit. So they were not fertile. So I needed like 2 apple trees of different varieties or 2 plum trees of different varieties minimum just for the tree to bear fruit. If you just have one, it won't give you any fruit, and I don't have the space to have multiple apples and multiple plums just to get some fruit. So I was looking for self-fertile trees, so unfortunately didn't get no apples or plums. I'm sure there are varieties that are just self-fertile, but again, just on this day, they didn't have any in stock, so that's okay. We didn't get any of them. I saw some finger limes. I think that's so cool. I believe my parents have a finger lime tree. I don't think it's ever produced though, or maybe it's not even a finger lime. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just memorized by all the different cool things, and I just love walking around the garden nursery. I saw this thing in the back. I didn't know what it was. Still don't really know what it was, but I thought it might be something cool since it was in the back corner, but not too sure. And yeah, so I finally loaded up my cart, a sneak peek of things that I got, and now I'm going home and we'll get this landscape project started. So this is the state of the yard that I walked in on my lunch break on this day. So as you can see, there's little tire marks, all dirt and cleared out. I'm just stoked with it. You can see around the orange tree how that's grassy kind of patch. That's what this back section of the yard was like. The front section was definitely more weeds and 3/4 jacks and the nasty things. So here's Nick on the dingo digger. It was so funny. Our yard's also like on a slope, so we tried to level out this yard. Oh, and another thing that you might see some redness amongst the dirt is we did have carpet down as a weed mat. It has worked in some sections it did not, and in this section it definitely did not. So essentially what I think was happening is Nick was making a pile while my father-in-law Neville, or our father-in-law Neville, was then had the tipper trailer and he was dumping that for us. Also behind you can see lots of mess. I'll talk about that, but this shed and that shed thing that's just looks like a mess, that is going to get all down kind of soon. Actually, that's kind of the next part, is demolishing that. So it's in bad condition as you can see, but that's totally fine. That's going to get all removed, and then that's going to give us more space for more fruit trees, maybe, I don't know. There's also lots of rubble, like bricks and metal poles and stuff we had no idea about. And then you can see my father-in-law reversing, and yeah, that's just what the boys were doing, just repeating that. So you can kind of tell on this angle where Nick's walking, that's what he has just dug up, and over to the side it is a lot higher. You can kind of see the height difference with that angle slightly. So that's what we're trying to level out, and using some of this soil on the other side of the yard just to try and level it out. It's still on a slope, but my goodness, it's much better. And there's, like, he's chucking out now all this rubbly, I think that was just concrete stuff. This section hasn't been done by the dingo yet because we had a volunteer potato plant. So if you're with me with my gardening last year, we have grown potatoes in this area from a volunteer compost potato, and I guess I didn't harvest them all because we got another volunteer potato plant. So I decided to pull this up. This potato plant has only been here for, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks. It grew super quick. So I'm just digging around seeing if there's any potatoes. I don't think I found any right now, but while we did dig, we did definitely find a lot more potatoes. But you can also see that darker one, that's that seed potato that had produced this plant plus these other 2 potatoes and possibly the other potatoes we did end up digging up. So that seed potato is what I forgot to harvest last season. So over here is our little small container garden. I was just doing everything in pots and totes and anything that I could find. We do have this garden bed. I am in the process of digging up this carpet. This bird bath needs a clean. These are our Brussels sprouts. I did prune them not that long ago, and that is so cool how they're growing. So there's an update for that. We started off with, and that's a Brussels sprout as well, for different variety. That's a white sage, and that's all we have in here. And we just got these 3 Brussels sprouts. So we did start off with 17 or 18 seedlings, and we're down to that many now. And I won't get into too much detail, but essentially these are some onion starts, some seedlings that I'm pretty sure have just all failed. These pots here are spinach. These are my dragon fruits, which I think have also failed. I got a single radish growing in here, and these 2 pots are leeks. We got blueberry bush, couple more dragon fruit seedlings, garlic, carrots, garlic, and these are our newest additions and what we're going to get done today now that we have a blank canvas essentially to work on. So we have this apricot Moore Park variety tree. We got a nut tree which we chose to have an almond tree. These are our seedlings, not our seedlings, our peas. I did have snow peas, like you saw. We made one of these teepee things over here. They didn't work, so I did end up planting seeds out 2 days ago, just so I made use of some kind of something with this pot. This is all rubbish and old carpet, bricks. There's just a random can, actually there's a couple of cans, I don't know, and yeah, some carpet and wood that we dug up throughout here. There's another pile. This shed's going to be getting taken down, so that's fine. It's already falling apart. That's a project for a different day. That's all concrete pieces. I'll show you a close up on that. But essentially we did have carpet as weed mat, which we did do here, and as you can see, it worked. It worked really well, and it's still completely intact, and this is older than what was over here, but I guess it's just type of material. It just didn't work for that section. And if you remember, this is the garden bed where we had the pots hanging. The pots kind of failed. This is all dug out. And we did find some potatoes growing in here, so I did take a photo. I'll show you the photo of that. But essentially what we're going to work on is from this concrete, like the edge of this concrete here, outwards, and then along to match there. So we're going to have 15 out, right around, so it'll come out to here, right around the whole lot, and then that's going to be a garden bed. And then it's going to be a grass in the middle, just because we want to utilize the side of this tool shed and end up having a projector out here so we can have movie nights under the stars on the grass surrounded by our plants and stuff. So yeah, this is a view from our garden on this side. Nick's just sawing up some bamboo sticks. Orange tree, the dingo digger couldn't fit between here, it was too narrow, so we have to do that manually, which is fine, and underneath, which is fine. So once we finish harvesting the whole orange tree, I've already done one kind of major harvest. Oh no, it broke. That's okay. I did do one major harvest of this orange tree. But there's definitely a lot more to go on, and then I'll give it a prune and tidy up and get all right underneath it, and then same with this side of the fence and the back here. So potentially we also ran out of paint right back here, but like no one comes back here, so that's fine. I actually forgot about that. That kind of looks funny. I didn't even notice it walking up towards it. I just noticed it now filming. But the plan for at the back this section is planting the other fruit trees. Oh, I didn't even show you all the bloody fruit trees. We have a banana palm and an olive tree as well. So I'm in line with the concrete now. There's a lot of space behind me to get that all planted, but I'll go up and show you the garden edging that we decided to get. So these are just the plastic pegs that we have to put down as garden edging, which is this one from Mitre 10. So we got 30 meters worth of that. And this is the grass lawn seeds that I selected. I purely only selected this just because it was the only box with a dog on it. But, well, I would just say that's what caught my attention. And then I actually read it, and the fact that it's drought tolerant, less rotting, low maintenance, sounds all good to me. So that's the one we went with. Alright, so we just walked around and pegged it all. So essentially from the concrete 15 out to this line of pegs is going to be all garden for me to grow food. All up around here, 15 out around here. So I also like how there's like a nice corner distance in the garden bed too. So yeah, all around here. And then from this line of pegs, so as you can see now there's 2 lines of pegs going down. So that's just to map out the end, and then that's just further where we're going to do the fruit trees. And then this is going to map in. You can see sometimes we had to double measure, but yeah, so this is going to map in. So that's the garden, and then between this stick and these sticks is the grass, which I don't know, it's just kind of hard to tell on camera. The grass area looks kind of big, but it really is not that big. But I think that's going to be good because it's less grass to mow and maintain, and it gives us more garden. Don't mind the background. This is just stuff that we did up. These bricks were there, we had them already. But yeah, all this rubble, I don't even know what you would call it, is what ended up was all buried here, which we did know there was some. We didn't realize it was to that extent and all of this here, but that's fine. We'll take that to a dump at a later date. But yeah, I just think it's so cool. Next, just walk around now spraying weed kill, because there is so much of this grassy stuff. I mean, a lot of this is just loose, but some of it, oh, that's still loose too. Some of it is intact still. Yeah, so here there's a lot of it that's intact, so we want to make sure to try and kill this off before planting. So it's been a couple of days. I don't know how well you can hear, but with these pegs, we still just kept them as pegs because we weren't sure. When we first done it, we were like, wow, this grass patch is actually quite small. So we just done these pegs just so we can have a visual. Same with these fruit trees. So Nick dug up the holes. So we got our apricot, which is going to go in here. And then this one's our almond tree. Which will go here. And then unfortunately it's windy. I've only just noticed. That's why I'm like, right, I'm going to get this done today. Our banana palm has fallen. But these are the bananas. This is a dwarf banana. And also our olive tree has fallen. So we got our orange tree here. As you can see, our apricot will be there, our almonds there. It's kind of close. They are definitely close. Oh, and the banana will be just here. So all these trees are kind of close, but there's still plenty of room in between. That's not a problem. And then our olive tree, I mean, it is still kind of close to the banana, but the banana will just pretty much essentially go up, whereas the olive tree is going to spread out. So that should be fine there. But the olive tree is more further away from these guys just because that is eventually going to be super big. So with the olive tree, essentially that is going to be 7 meters by 7 meters, I believe. Or is it 7 feet? I can't even remember. It will say on the thing. But yeah, that's essentially going to be super big. But it does take up to 15 years for it to reach the max size. Plus we'll prune it and keep it a reasonable size. So I think that'll be fine. So yeah, definitely lots of plans, lots of ideas, lots of fun. For now I'm going to get these trees in the ground. I don't think I'm going to film myself doing it. I don't even know how good this audio is going to go because it is quite windy and bright and sunny and I can barely see. But to get these trees in the ground, we're just using the dirt that it's in. Plus I do have, whoop. Oh my goodness. Plus we do have some of this blood and bone fertilizer. So I'll bring that out with me. And then if we need some more soil, I do have bags of pot mix. Obviously it's not going in a pot, but I'm sure that'll be fine. And we wanted this space back here, so where this tree will go. But where this fence is, we'll do probably around here-ish. So as you can see, the orange makes beautiful shade. And this is where we're going to have our chicken coop. So we're definitely going to be getting chickens. I've been wanting our chickens for just over a year now. And with our summers it's going to get quite hot. So I like how we got some shade. They'll have some sun. This almond tree would eventually make some shade for them as well. But we'll probably let them out. I would probably make some kind of fence, or I'll get Nick to make some kind of fence along here. This is like long term, so they can run all around this area, but they'd only do that supervised as well. It wouldn't be like a usual thing, but we do want to give them quite a big decent space back here. All right, they're all planted. How cool. It just feels so surreal that we now have so many fruit trees and a nut tree. I keep calling them all fruit trees, but the almond is obviously a nut, not a fruit. But and these are like this just purely because it's winter. They're beautiful, absolute beautiful trees. But yeah, they shed just like these trees we have here. They go naked in the winter, so that's perfectly fine. And with this banana tree, the wind did knock it down a couple of times, so unfortunately this looks a little ugly, but it's not dry. I'll wait till it dries off and then I'll give it a nice clean cut. But otherwise, hopefully now she's in the ground, she'll stop getting beaten up by the weather. But it does look really nice, and the colour's still really good. So I'm sure she'll be fine. And I think the next stage will be getting this garden edging installed, and we're going to slowly get potting mix and plant things. And I think I'm going to start from this corner and work our way out, and then we'll go out and then we'll come right around. And then from here I'll get an arch so we can have things climbing. But yeah, so the next stage is a dump run to get rid of the rubbish, the garden edging, and then cleaning up along this back fence line because the dingo digger couldn't get right to the back fence line, and around the base of the orange tree, finish harvesting, pruning, stuff like that. So there's definitely lots of projects to do out here. It's not going to get done today. It's not going to be, nothing's going to get done in one single day. It's definitely going to be a progress thing, but I'm excited to show you guys our journey. And yeah, it's just, oh look at it. Kind of can't see the twigs or the olive trees, a bit small, but you can see the banana. It's just, I'm so excited. I love it. Love it.